There's the man, Adrian Yanez. Congrats. Welcome back to MMA Junkie Radio. Congrats on your big win this past Saturday.
Man, thank you very much. It was definitely a fun one, a tough one for me as well. Thank you guys, man. I'm glad to be home.
Hey, you guys built it up. A lot of it was here on MMA Junkie Radio and MMA Junkie. You guys built it up. You did it with respect. I even heard somebody say, how about a beer afterwards? I don't know if you guys grabbed that beer or not. But you know what? Putting all that aside, you guys delivered. That was a scrap, man.
Oh, yeah, man. Absolutely. We both knew what we wanted to do, and we both knew that us as fighters, we know exactly who we were, and we understood that when we both were walking into the cage, and even outside the cage, we both knew that we're both respectable guys. So it was fun for us because, like, man, like you hardly ever get that anymore. You never get really that respect factor in MMA as much anymore, just because like everything is kind of almost like built off fake gimmicks now. And this was 100% real. We both respected each other, and it was just one of those that it was refreshing to see, and it was refreshing to be a part of, honestly. The Dr. Pepper Reese's, yeah, that was for fun. That was just for something for us to poke fun at. But other than that, the respect and like the admiration for each other, it's 100% real. Like I have 100% respect for that guy. No ill will towards him, and I really hope he comes back and rebounds back like phenomenally. So it's all love from me.
So allow us to have a little bit of fun because you're the man. You won. You got your hand raised. Aljamain Sterling was on our show, the champ, a few weeks ago, and he was giving you praise. But let us just bust your chops for a second. That jab, man, it took you a while to get over that jab. It almost looked like one of those early Rocky movies. He was just pumping it, and your head was snapping and snapping.
It was weird, man. It was super weird. I didn't know, because like I said, man, I thought he was going to come in super kick oriented. I thought he was going to rely on his head kicks and everything. So I didn't want to move my head too much. And I was like, man, because if I move too much to the left, if I move too much to the right, that head kick's there. It limited what I wanted to do. And from the beginning, I knew I wanted to slow his legs down. So I wanted to kind of chop his legs down. So I was like single-minded too. So once he hit me with like the second or third jab, I got into this phase where I just wanted to go in there and just like hit him with a hard shot, make him stop. And that made me more like stiff. It made me more, it put me in a single-minded where I started being stuck in the mud, and I just couldn't get out the funk of like me just like wanting to go in there and land some hard shots. Like there's a couple of times where I threw a hard shot, I had to shake my arms down. I was like, God, like man, like I was getting mad. I was getting frustrated, but it was just a good jab. It was a mixture of like of a lot of things. It was Randy first and foremost, him and his jab. Like he had a fast jab. Like it was weird. It was like a change-up pitch. Like it started off slow, ended off really fast, hitting my face, and I was just like, damn. So it was a mixture of like Randy just getting really, really good because I didn't know he even had a jab to begin with, and and the change of speed in his jab and his length, and then also too is like kind of like it was just kind of hard to grasp his timing because man, he has a weird little unorthodox stance, so it was just kind of hard to grasp his timing. Then once he figured out that I was having a harder time to grasp his time, he just kept going. He wanted to throw everything in the kitchen sink at me, and man, from the looks of my face, he did.
When do you think it was late first round, but where was it that you think you finally figured it out?
Man, I was starting to land the leg kicks, and I started to land the oblique kicks because I wanted to try to I wanted to go, instead of going low, I wanted to start going high with them, so to return back to him. So it was like one of the leg kicks, and then I took a step forward, and he took a big step back, and I started throwing punches at him, and I started noticing that he started taking the steps back, and I kind of saw it in his face, and I started like, well, let me start going to the body, and it was like in the minute and a half mark left in the round, and I started walking him down, and I was like, oh, this is it, like I got it. Like even though he was still hitting me with jabs, it was still kind of like it was like it was still in my favor because whenever I started walking him down, I started throwing my own jabs and I started throwing combinations at him, and I was like, oh, I'm getting closer with these punches. Like, cause I threw a double jab right handed, like in the one in like the first 2 minutes, and it came nowhere. That right hand came nowhere close. And I threw that same combination again, and it literally only missed by an inch or two. And I was like, oh, I'm there. I just need to go. I just need to start. I just need to start walking forward. I just need to just start walking him down. And that minute and a half, I was like, okay, that's it. I got it. Like in my head, I just knew at that point I had it. And then I started looking for his body a lot more. I started trying to hunt for his liver, because man, like at some points I wasn't able to hit his head. So I was like, let me go to the body. So I hit the body, and then after that, I noticed his hands were dropping a little bit more, and so that made me be able to put the pressure on even faster. And then going into that second round, I just was like, okay, walk him down. On his back foot, I really don't think he was able to fight off of it, and it just opened up so much more for me whenever I started walking him down.
Adrian, we like you both, man. We've interviewed both of you guys, and we've had a great time with both of you guys. And I started thinking about it. Like, it's probably the only time I've ever rooted for a draw, like before the fight. But I thought about it, and you're right. The way you guys came about everything, you were so cordial and all that. But when the fight was about to start, I was playing mind games in my head, and I was thinking, did you guys being so cordial to each other and so nice, did that almost create more pressure than if when you were going into a fight kind of hating the guy in front of you? Like, did it make things even like a little bit more difficult?
Honestly, it should have, but it didn't. And especially in Randy's case, because he came out guns blazing. But honestly, for me, it didn't. If I was thrown off by anything, it was because of Randy. Randy went out there and he just as soon as he had his range, he found his range pretty quickly, and he threw the jab. And once he started snapping it, he just kept snapping it, which is more props to him. So, yeah, no, there was nothing. There was none of that. Like, there was none of that. Like me being timid to fight him because I liked him or anything like that. There was nothing to that, and I wouldn't want that to be the narrative or anything like that, because it was all on Randy. Randy did his thing in the first round. But that was like it was all Randy. So like on my end, there wasn't no pressure on me. I knew I had to go out there and fight. Randy knew he had to go out there and fight. So no, there was no pressure on me. Like I don't believe there's any pressure on either of us to go out there and perform or anything like that. It was just a style matchup that was perfect. It was absolutely perfect for the both of us.
The whole Dr. Pepper Reese's thing has had my mind blown. I see a Sprite in the background. I'm thinking, who is he calling out next? Who likes Sprite?
Oh, no. This is my Dr. Pepper, man. Hold on, let me see if you can see it right quick. But oh yeah, I got the little Dr. Pepper mini fridge right there. Like, I don't know if you could barely see it. Shout out to Juan Cardenas. I got it right after the fight, so I thought that was amazing.
I like how he shifted the camera too. He goes,
oh yeah,
the pepper thing, and then he brought it back just enough to squeeze out Sprite.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, no shine for them right now. It's all Dr. Pepper season, man.
Nice.
Well, I thought it was a Joker roommate or something like that.
So look, Adrian, you and Randy built that last fight. You brought each other up. You stated why it would be a great matchup. You even gave us the angle of Reese's and Dr. Pepper. If I'm a matchmaker, I feel like, why should I do the next? Like, I should just let him do it. Do you have anybody in mind? Do you have a scenario in mind? I feel like you should be rewarded. Like, this is where I want to do it. This is what I want. This is how I want to do it. You deserve that. Do you have anything in mind right now?
Man, honestly, I hadn't thought of anything, because I've been going back and watching the fights and trying to learn as much as I can, and trying to see what I need to work on for my next fight and what's coming up next. Man, because I didn't want to look past Randy at all. Didn't even want to think about what was next. I did have a timeline of what I wanted to do, like September, November, fight November, and stay pretty active. But man, like I just wasn't looking at names. I wasn't looking at anything, because Randy was 100% like on my mind, because I knew how tough he was. I knew he was gonna come in and try to put my lights out, and so like, it was just one of those that I didn't want to past Randy at absolutely at all. So to me, I was kind of just it. My mind was on Randy, so I really have no names. And my name's been thrown around on Twitter with a lot of people. Uh, so it's it was there's a couple names in there that I'm looking at. Somebody even threw in that guy's name that fought Sean O'Malley this last time around because they're like they're both tough. I'm like, yeah, no, that would be fun, but I don't want that. I don't want that fight because I it would just be 2 losses for that guy, and I wouldn't want to do that. Uh, but yeah, no, I had to sit back and actually look at the division and see where I'm ranked at, see where I stacked up, and then make my next decision.
I do like the other side of what you said, Sean O'Malley. That would make for a great matchup in my eyes.
Yeah, oh, that'd be fun too. That'd be fun too. But I gotta tighten up some things before I go up there, man. Like that. Randy opened up some things I need to work on, and I gotta go to work. I can't sit around. I gotta go to work.
Here's the first thing I think you need to work on. This was thrown out last time, and the last time we interviewed you, and I think it just needs to happen. Whoever fights you next, are they going to fight Adrian Yanez or Adrian Mantequilla Yanez?
Oh, man.
That shit's got to go in.
Yeah, man. Honestly, like the hands, like in I was Mantequilla in round 2. Round 1, man, I was hard butter, man. I was hard butter. I was stuck around. I wasn't slippery. I was the block. I was in block position. I wasn't Mantequilla. I wasn't smooth, ready to spread on tortillas or anything like that, man. So I gotta wait. Some people on Twitter were actually photoshopping my face on the Punisher, Frank Castle's Punisher, and like the one that was on Netflix or whichever one. So they're saying I looked like him for this last fight, and I was like, well, all right, I get it. I get it.
That's funny, man. I love that. I love that nickname, Mantequilla. All right, so I got a couple names, and let's see what you think of them. Because one way to continue to move up is you do want to face someone who's also coming off a win, like yourself. Or sometimes you catch a veteran who has a name, even if they may have lost their last fight, it's still progression upward. So I can think of 2 guys that I don't think they have fights booked, but I think they fit that mold: Assuncao and Rivera. What do you think of 2 veterans like that?
Oh, both those guys are phenomenal names and like guys who I respect. I was watching Raphael Assuncao fight whenever, man, like I was still amateur days, and that was like back in 2012. So like I have I have like a big respect for the both of them. So like both those names sound very, very nice. Like I don't mind that at all because they've been in the game. They've been in the game for a very long time, and that I think is just great all around. I think that would be a great fight either way.
Yeah, man. Assuncao is even one of the last remaining WEC guys. So,
yeah.
Like literally, that's pretty cool. I think maybe I geek out on stuff like that, but there's not too many guys that remain from Pride, like Fabricio Verdum, for example. I don't think Shogun Hu is done yet, but there's still a few fighters that fought in Pride at one time, Pride Fighting Championships. And there's still a few guys that fought in WEC, like Assuncao. I think it'd be pretty cool to mix it up with one of those guys, one of those legends from either organization, and at some point they'll phase out Strikeforce, but it's just part of the history of the game. So I thought that might be a pretty interesting angle there too.
Oh yeah, I think they'd both be great. I think because that would actually set me up even higher for my next fight. So those are great setup fights. Like tune-ups to get those guys who are in the top 15 easily.
You're thinking September, October? Is that what you said, or you want to wait a little longer?
I would want September. Like I definitely want September, and then fight November, end of November, then kind of chill out for December, January, February, and then after that, be very, very active.
So I don't want to play the gotcha game, but you did say there's some things I want to work on. Whatever it is, you can tweak it quick. We're at the end of July. Fighting in September is 2 months away. You can do those tweaks and be ready to go in September.
Oh yeah, man. There's a lot of downtime. You know, I've been really focusing on making sure that I'm getting my technique. Like, man, like there's times where like I can spend an extra 30 minutes doing something. There's definitely instead of like trying to make sure I like get home at like making sure I get home at night at a little bit like at a good time. I can sit back and just work on a couple things here and there. Not you know, I might lose a little bit of sleep, but at the same time, you know, as long as it's for a good thing that I'm working on.
Last question. When this interview ends, is the first thing you're going to say is, man, who put the Sprite in the background? You guys are killing me here.
oh no, man. Actually, I don't know who put it back there, but you know, I had to make sure I had my Dr. Pepper in hand.
You did have
at
it
all times. I had to make sure.
Yeah. All right, Adrian. Thanks for the time. It was a blast talking to you, and it was a fun fight. You guys put on a show from beginning to end, creating the fight week itself, the respect before and afterwards. Did you guys have that beer, by the way, or afterwards or no?
No, man. My flight was super early, so I really didn't get a chance to do much. I just had a chance to go eat with my manager and the family, his family and all that stuff, and pretty much had to fly back early morning back home. Yeah. And good thing I did, because I had to go corner my training partners for Fury FC down here in Houston. So yeah, so I've been nonstop work since I got back. So today is like finally the day that I've been able to kind of just mellow out for a little bit.
Well, when COVID's over, we'll probably get back to how it used to be, and that's there's a host hotel, at least in Vegas, host hotel, and then there's a little bit more of a closing ceremonies, you know, at the host hotel's bar. And I've seen a lot of fighters that have had great fights just get together with fans and everything. So we need to get back to that. Right now it's a different era. And respect to you for flying home and cornering your boys, man. You were in a war, but you decided to go there and be loyal. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, man. Hey, they're a part of my crew, man. 100%. Like, never gonna turn my back on them, even if I have a fight. If I have a fight the next, like the day before theirs, man, I'm making sure I'm getting home to make sure I'm there for them. They're there for me 100% of the time. I have to be there for them 100% of the time, man. Because without them, I wouldn't have been in that cage. I wouldn't have been ready to get in there, man. So I'm 100% behind them, 100% behind my team. Anybody who's helped me, man, like, I'm 100% there. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. I have to go out there and you know, if you show me the 100% loyalty, I'm gonna give you 100% of my loyalty.
All right, Adrian, I think we froze here, but we caught what you said via audio. Thank you very much for the time today, and we'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Thank you very much, man. Y'all have a good one.